Does our Lord and Savior Akio Toyoda owe us an apology? Here he is bowing for a recently botched safety regulation. So, he's apologizing for messing up some safety regulations on about 6 other vehicles. But that's not what we're talking about today. By now, we know that there's been a recall on the Tundras. So should Akio Toyoda apologize for this right here? This is the recall that everybody is angry about. The new Tundras, their engines are blowing up. They left trash, essentially, machining trash in the engine during production. And it affects not only these Toyota Tundras with their twin-turbo V6, but also Lexus LX600s as well. So today we're going to be exploring and speculating a little bit about whether Akio Toyoda should actually apologize to all these Tundra owners that are now dealing with this anxiety, all the LX600 owners that are dealing with the anxiety of wondering if their engines are going to blow up, all the Lexus GX550 buyers and the Sequoia buyers who also have this engine that are now living in a state of perpetual wanton anxiety, wondering if their new twin-turbo V6 is going to blow up. Are those users, all those owners owed an apology here? Now, when I say apology, I'm not talking about a Kentucky Fried apology from Toyota, Kentucky, or Toyota, Tennessee, or Toyota in Plano, Texas. The pretend face of Toyota, the regionalized face of Toyota. With all due respect, here in 2024, everybody knows and accepts that Toyota is run from Japan. It's a Japanese company. And therefore, the apologizing should come directly from Japan, directly from Akio Toyoda, seen here apologizing for recent transgressions. Are American buyers of these Tundras, these Lexuses, GX550s, and Sequoias owed this same level of apology? Because let's be honest, this is an emotional problem that these buyers are having to deal with. In other words, they're being tormented because they've just spent good money on a very expensive top-tier flagship vehicle and it's already blowing up an engine. We must be reminded when we talk about these recalls on these twin-turbo V6s that it's a flagship engine. It's not a Mickey Mouse engine. It's not the entry-level, 1.2-liter three-banger, that's in a Yaris or whatever. But this is indeed the twin-turbo V35, twin-turbo V6 flagship engine that is supposed to replace the tried-and-true 5.7-liter V8 engine that Toyota used to have. So it's a big deal, and buyers of this sort of flagship sort of engine, they want to be consoled. Because let's be honest, if you bought any of these 4 vehicles, you'd be very upset. So I'm going to speculate and give you an idea of what I think something positive is going to come out of this. In other words, I'm rambling a little bit. What I'm trying to say is, or what I'm trying to ramble is, Toyota is going to, I think, actually realize what's going on here and how serious the situation is. And they're going to make the buyers of these 4 vehicles feel really good really soon. And the reason why I say Toyota is going to make buyers feel better about this is because, look at this. This is a Tundra with its engine out, and they're replacing the main bearing that failed on it, and it's a big mess. Any buyer that sees this, that just paid a lot of money for a brand new vehicle with a flagship engine in it, they don't want to see this. This is going to bring a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety just by looking at this. And we see here the bearing didn't get oil, so it's all sludged up. So oil didn't get here and it overheated, turned into sludge, screwed up the bearing. And Toyota's got to make this right. And, their repair, the fix for this at the time of this video here is not satisfactory, and Toyota's got to do something better. Toyota's current solution is to replace the short block. And that's what you see here. That's essentially the bottom of the engine. I know short block, long block, big block, small block can be confusing. But it's not big block, small block. It's short block, which is the bottom half of the engine, and long block, which is the upper half for the entire engine. But Toyota so far is only replacing the short block or the bottom end of the engine, which includes the crank, new pistons, and everything else is reused, and that's not good enough. There's no way that customers are going to be happy with this, and they're already voicing concerns because they're never going to have a level of confidence in this engine again, even if it's put back together by competent technicians, and they are competent. They're not going to sleep well at night knowing that their engine had trash in it, metal shavings, that went through all these oil holes, screwed up, these main bearings here, and then circulated throughout the rest of the engine, i.e. the other half of the engine, the top half, that's not being replaced. That's not going to sit well with people. And so all this stuff here is going right back in your Tundra or LX600 or any other twin-turbo V6 that has this issue. All these parts you see here are the top of the engine, and this is getting slapped right back in your rebuilt, brand new. It's funny to even say those words. And I'm not laughing at you or with you. I'm just kind of laughing at the irony of everything. But anyway, trust me, I'm going to give you some empathy. Hold on here. But nobody's going to be happy with this because the oil, the contaminated oil, whether it affected the top end or not, that's irrelevant. I don't think it did personally, but the buyer, the consumer, people who bought these engines aren't going to be happy knowing that contaminated oil with trash in it may have reached the top end of these components here, which include the two turbochargers as well. So what I suspect will happen is we're going to get a legitimate apology from Akio Toyoda here soon, directed at Americans. Now, this apology may not be direct like this. You may not see him bowing, though he should. But what I think he will do is satisfy customer demand and actually replace the entire engine, meaning the whole short block, long block, the whole thing, brand new engine. Every last part of the engine will be replaced come the end of June or early July, which is in a few weeks. So the official statement here on this recall is Toyota's working on a solution by the end of June, early July, and my speculation is that Akio Toyoda will make things right by putting in a whole new engine and or buying back the entire vehicle and allowing the customer to have full confidence that their new, their engine is completely fixed. That's what I'm trying to ramble here. Because a bottom end only replacement in this situation makes no sense. It's illogical on so many levels. Obviously, the emotional level. Hey, we only fixed half of your engine, you're good to go. Now, whether that's true or false, that's not what we're talking about here. It just doesn't sit well emotionally. And it doesn't sit well from a business perspective because it doesn't leave the consumer with a lot of confidence in a brand new product. Furthermore, it doesn't make sense from a business perspective because these vehicles are nothing to Toyota. I know to the buyer, this is a big deal. You just got a new car, it broke. But Toyota as a whole, as a corporation, these Tundras are only sold in America, and it matters not to Toyota. So these things are expendable to them, so there's no reason for Akio Toyoda to not order unsatisfied customers under this recall to be given brand new Tundras, LX600s, and or engines complete, and or buy their vehicle back to get them out of this mess. So when we see what is Toyota going to do, Toyota is currently investigating the issue and will be developing a remedy. And that's what I'm rambling about here today. I really, truly think that the buyers, the consumers of these vehicles affected are going to get their wish. It makes no sense for Toyota to simply give a bottom end half of an engine for such a unforgivable type of recall under these circumstances and within this context. What I'm saying is Toyota needs to make everybody happy and just give them new engine, new vehicle, new warranty, and be done with it. Now, ultimately, someone's going to point out that technically the the GX550 was not mentioned in this recall, nor was the Toyota Sequoia. And this is not being disingenuous. This is being erring on the side of caution and taking intelligent deduction here and saying that all four vehicles share these same engines. And this LX600 is more of a flagship than any of these three vehicles insofar as Toyota, as far as Lexus and Toyota is concerned. This is the most expensive Toyota SUV, the LX600, and this is blowing up engines. This was also assembled in Japan, where this was assembled in, I believe, Alabama or Texas. One of them doesn't matter, America. So we can't go, well, this one was assembled in Japan, and this GX550 is in Japan, this is America, blah, blah, blah. There's something fishy going on here in the manufacturing process. So it is wise to include the Lexus GX550 and the Sequoia in this recall, because Toyota may not be done with issuing their official recalls. They may not want to overwhelm you by going, hey, we're recalling all of them. This might be a slow recall type of deal where you're going to see, the Sequoia and the GX550 included in these recalls soon. Is that speculation? Yes, it is. Admittedly, it is. Is it crazy? Is it unreasonable? Is it illogical? Is it wild? Is it wanton? Is it a stretch? Absolutely not. Why? Because they all share the same engine. So there's a high probability that the Lexus GX550 and the Sequoia could face these problems if they haven't faced them already, and the anecdotes just haven't been reported yet online. So you got to take all these V6 twin-turbo engine recalls or potential to be recalled seriously. And thus, while it is speculation here that I'm saying, hey, you're going to get a brand new engine and/or car and/or buyback if you're affected by this twin-turbo V6 explosion, or failure, recall, blah, blah, blah. It's speculation, but again, to Akito Toyota, the Tundra sales are a drop in the bucket. The cash cow for Toyota is their Synergy hybrid stuff, their Camrys, their RAV4s, their Siennas, all the smaller stuff that never makes it to America. That's their cash cow. They're dead reliable. They've been around forever. The technology, nothing radical in the technology has changed, and they sell way more of them than Tundras and Tacomas and LX600s and GX460s, etc. So it shouldn't hurt Toyota's bottom line to make the customer happy in this situation, because this is 2024, and as soon as something goes wrong, it's on YouTube. And this is a Tundra with its engine parts everywhere, and no Tundra owner, the owner of this vehicle or a future Tundra owner, anybody wants to see this and go, yeah, we're going to give it back to you. I know it's brand new, but we just put in a new body, man. We're going to stick all this stuff back together. It's as good as factory. It's as good as new. Trust me, he's a master technician, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to be the same. There's going to be a sentiment that it's never going to be as good as new once it's cracked open and its parts are spread everywhere, and the best technician in the world, that may be right, but it's not the same as being factory fresh and factory, virginal, so to speak, from the factory and good to go. No, the consumer's never ever going to trust that. Absolutely nobody is going to have confidence in this being being taken apart after shavings went through it because the machinist forgot to clean out the garbage from the oil ports. And just look at all this, again, to people who know engines, hey, it's fine, this is not complex, blah, blah, blah. The average buyer, consumer is going to look at this and go, there's no way in heck that mayhem of oil shavings didn't go anywhere else throughout all this piping, these turbos, and this, that, and the other. Even though some of these systems aren't even interconnected, the point is, it gives off the impression that catastrophe went more places than just the bottom end. which is why I'm speculating that God Toyota will come through. He will pull through. Because, again, here in 2024, everything gets put on blast really quick. And the emotion, the emotional factor, the emotional feedback loop of upset customers, it goes right directly to God Toyota here. And he understands that. He is an empathetic person. How do we know? We've seen his empathy in the past. We've seen him apologize in the past. We've seen him apologize right here. So why would this be any different? Especially when you consider that Toyota wants to make things right. So I do think come the end of this month, late June, early July, Toyota customers with this V6 twin turbo, whether it's a Tundra, LX600, GX 550, or the Sequoia, they're going to be pleasantly surprised. Akio Toyota will most likely come through with something that's going to make everybody happy and hopefully regain confidence in Toyota products. But what if I'm wrong? What if Toyota, all they're going to do is offer you a new bottom end? The so-called short block fix. If they do that, it's not going to go over well because it's going to spread like wildfire on the internet. And the internet spreading like wildfire when these twin-turbo V6s were knocking and having bearing issues over the past, few months, a year, whatever you want to call it. That's what caused all this to begin with. And I think that's something that Toyota is coming to grips with, for better or worse. Again, I know I keep saying we're in 2024, blah, blah, blah. And, if you take back the clock when the old Tundra came out with its 5.7 and it had issues, that was way back when. And YouTube and Reddit and all the social media stuff didn't exist. So my point is, Toyota could kind of take their sweet time making things better because the noise from the buyers wasn't as loud, wasn't as effective as it is now. But yeah, now it's on blast. Spun bearings, 40,000 views, The engine being torn apart, 42,000 views. Another Tundra, this was just 8 days ago, a bunch of views. You get what I'm rambling here. We're going down YouTube, 70,000 views. This stuff gets put on blast really quick. And Toyota, as a result, has to keep up with this stuff really quick because stuff is happening fast. And when it does, it gets thousands of views. And Toyota can no longer take the, we're just going to slowly get to it and gradually get to it approach. They got to be more aggressive in making customers feel happy here, which is why it makes the most sense for God Toyota to make things right. It costs him and his organization virtually nothing, but it means everything to the client to simply make it right. So I don't think I'm going out on some, crazy intellectual stretch here to say Toyota's not going to leave the customer hanging in this day and age of social media and information, and more importantly than information, feelings being put out on blast really quick, and emotions getting out on Reddit, on YouTube. I'm unhappy, I am unhappy, we're unhappy, we're unhappy. That gets out really quick. And it gets back here, and they've got to counter that with something good. So yeah, I think you're getting a brand new engine come the end of June and beginning of July. And if you're under this recall in any sort of way, you're going to get the whole deal, all of this whole engine. You're going to get it new, and that's the best anybody could do to calm you down. Now, please realize that this video is not about if there's any sort of engineering problem with this engine or this, that, or the other. That's not the scope of this video. What I'm trying to talk about today is consoling those who are upset and or anxious that their brand new Toyota or Lexus is going to self-destruct at any random time because of some trash left in the oil passageways issue. I think that consolation is important at this time because, again, there's a lot riding on the reputation of this engine. It's in the Lexus GX 550, which is just splashed onto the marketplace. People are obviously excited about it, and this engine here has got to work. And people who buy this engine have got to have confidence in it. So, I can't guarantee it, but I think something is going to happen very good, very happy, end of July, end of June, early July, that's going to make everyone feel a lot better about this engine. With that said, I still think the best thing Toyota could do, and I don't know if this will happen, would be a true, genuine apology from Akio Toyota to its loyal Toyota and Lexus customers. I think this would go a long way to have a genuine apology from Japan, not a Kentucky Fried apology from Texas or Tennessee, but a genuine apology from Chairman Toyota or whatever his position is now. I forget. He's chairman now. Anyway, point is, a genuine apology would go a long way.